What's up, my comic comrades? I hope all of you are doing well. Now, you guys know I love talking about characters' origins, histories, and storylines, but I also love to talk about concepts and objects in the world of fiction. For instance, we've done episodes on the origin of the Batarang, web shooters, the Speed Force, and more recently, Mandarin's 10 Rings of Power. And today I'm going to be talking about one of the most well-known concepts and powers in all of fandom, and that would be Spider-Man's spider sense. Although a lot of people assume it made its debut in Spider-Man's first appearance in Amazing Fantasy 15, it actually didn't. It made its debut in Amazing Spider-Man issue 1 in 1963, created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. And even then, it wasn't referred to as his spider sense initially, but rather his spider instinct. Although later on in that same issue, the villain Chameleon did say, "Spider-Man has the powers and instincts of a spider, so I will send him a message that only his spider senses will be able to pick up." And Peter did indeed use his spider sense, or spider senses as Chameleon said, to be able to get the message. So I suppose technically that is the first mention of the literal term spider sense. But you know, I gotta take this one step further. We get the first mention of the phrase we all came to know and love, "My spider sense is tingling," in the Amazing Spider-Man issue 6, which is also the first appearance of the Lizard. And now you got that much more Spider-Man knowledge in your brain. You're welcome. But anyway, let's start talking about how the spider sense works and how the Spider-Men and women of the Spider-Verse use it. In layman's terms, it's a tingling feeling that alerts Spider-Man to danger. In the comics, said sensation comes from the back of his skull, which is why you usually see those squiggly lines around Peter's head both in the comic books and cartoons when his spider sense goes off. And even though it's officially called his spider sense or even a danger sense, a lot of people like to refer to it now as his Peter tingle because of Spider-Man Far From Home, and I gotta say, it's pretty hilarious. Over the many decades of Spider-Man comics, Peter has mastered this sixth sense, and it's arguably his most useful power, even over sticking to walls and web slinging. Literally, its function is to alert any Spider-Man or woman who has it of danger, whether you're talking about oncoming gunfire or something like Peter's about to drink spoiled milk. What's also nuts is that Spider-Man and other characters from the Spider-Verse can use the spider sense to detect trouble nearby. So although its primary use is to alert from personal danger, it could also find danger nearby. And the danger doesn't always have to be immediate, which the Chameleon has learned time and time again. For instance, the spider sense has warned Peter on several occasions of people in disguise like Chameleon who were near him even though they weren't currently a threat to him at that point in time. As for Peter Parker specifically, he has created spider tracers that are attuned to his spider sense, allowing him to detect villains and crimes throughout the city. Pretty dope, right? Now, getting scientific with it, Spider-Man's spider sense does stem from a bit of reality, as there is several species of spiders out there that do have a danger sense, so to speak. These spiders are able to use their web or webbing to detect vibrations, which in turn can alert them to threats ahead of time. With that said, this is comic books, so obviously the spider sense is taken to an extreme, and even a mystical level. In Jed MacKay's Spider-Verse issue 1 from 2019, we see that fellow Spider-Man Miles Morales learns the real or technical name for the spider sense, which is arachnofrequency. This frequency is tied to the cosmic force that's known as the Web of Life and Destiny, which was first introduced to us in the Amazing Spider-Man Volume 2, Issue 30 in June of 2001. Marvel's breakdown of what the Web of Life and Destiny is as follows: a three-dimensional construct in five-dimensional space, which acts as a model of the entire multiverse and enables travel between realities, hence the Spider-Verse. The Web of Life and Destiny is maintained by the Master Weaver. As for the Master Weaver, he's a member of the Inheritors, a clan of totemic hunters who fed on the life force of totems. But that's for a whole nother episode. Because quite frankly, the Inheritors and the Master Weaver deserve their own episode. Anyway, not only is the Web of Life where all the Spider-Men and women get their spider sense, it's also where they get all their spider powers from. That's right, Madam Web and the countless other versions of Spider-Men and women derive their powers from the Web of Life. And because of this, they're all considered totemic entities. But as for how the Web of Life and Destiny works with the spider sense, it basically binds all of space and time together on an instinctive level, and in turn is able to give every Spider-Man and woman an intimate sense of the world around them, to the point where it's able to predict things that haven't even happened yet. What I'm saying is the spider sense can give its users a form of precognition. Essentially, as it turns out, the spider sense is the most important and or valuable power a Spider-Man can have, as it literally ties every spider character together as well as attuning them to the world around them. In recent years, the spider sense in Spider-Verse is something that's continually being expanded upon in Spider-Man's titles. But the last thing I'm going to say about the spider sense is that some characters have better spider senses than others. For example, in the Amazing Spider-Man issue 4 from 2014, Peter says while fighting Silk, "I think I got the edge on her in the spider strength department, but her spider sense, not even a contest. That's like Matrix bullet time good. Like I said in the Origin of Silk episode, her spider sense is so good it's referred to as a hyper spider sense. She describes her spider sense as psychic strands of webbing reaching out into the world, with her as being able to go farther than Peter's. This was proven 2 times. The first one I just told you about, where Peter said it from his own mouth. The second time being when she was able to detect Electro and Black Cat at a news station way before Peter could. But there you have it, friends. That's what the spider sense is and how it works. I bet you that was a little more complex than some of you may have thought. Either way, it's always cool to see like concepts and ideas and powers evolve in comics, so I'm really curious to see how much further they're gonna go with this in Marvel. But as I always have to say, what do you guys think? What is your 2 cents? Let us know in the comment section down below. But other than that, be sure to like our videos, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and comment. It helps us out. But I will see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.